Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to No Filter with Naomi. I'm not even sure today we were going to make it and get on air because it is raining like the heavens opened up this afternoon. But we have a guest today that I am so interested to know more about and to talk to. She's groundbreaking. She's the all-American supermodel. She's an entrepreneur. She's a host. She's done a lot of firsts, so we have a lot of things that we can identify with each other. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ashley Graham.
Ashley? Hi, Naomi. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thank you for being able to do this. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
All day yesterday, I was singing, walk, Naomi Campbell, walk into the room like Naomi Campbell, walk.
Please tell me, well, first of all, congratulations on baby Isaac.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
How's he doing? And I know that you drove from New York to Nebraska. Can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, if I would have bought one of those bodysuits that you bought, I maybe would have flown. But I didn't have any, and I didn't have any for Isaac. And my mom helps me out in New York when I live there with him. And she said, you know what, let's just drive. It's 20 hours. We can leave tonight. Well, we can leave early in the morning and we can get there late at night. And that's exactly what we did. And it's so weird to think that that was almost a month ago that we left New York City. But I tell you what, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning and we got in the next day at 1 o'clock in the morning and it was totally worth it. We just stopped to pee and breastfeed and we just kept it moving.
Wow. So it's the first time you ever driven across America?
Yes, it is. It's funny because growing up, my mom and dad always had us in the car. We did lots of road trips together. So I knew what I needed to mentally prepare for. But usually on those road trips, we would stop and go see a museum or go see something. And this was not a stop and go hang out kind of situation. We really wanted to get out of New York. And, you know, mainly because I have a newborn. He'll be 12 weeks on Saturday. And I miss my friends so much, but here, I mean, it's like suburbia. I've got grass everywhere. There's a bike path behind my mom's house. I'm glad we left.
I mean, I think understandably so. You know, new mother, newborn. So Ashley, please, there's so many things I want to know about you. So first of all, there's a couple of things that we've both been through that we've had similarities in our careers. You've done a lot of groundbreaking and been done a lot of things first. What I'd like to ask you before we start is, how do you like to be called? Because, okay, curvy model, I mean, what's your preference? Yeah, what are you?
That big girl. That hourglass chick. It's
what is it that you feel comfortable with? I mean, I get that we shouldn't have to have labels, but unfortunately, we're all given labels in our business at some point. Yeah,
of course. I know it is interesting because we are models, we are constantly categorized. And I think it helps clients book us better when we are categorized. And when I first started modeling at 12 years old, I had no idea what the word plus size even meant. And it was just an automatic label that somebody had given, that an agency had given me. And I think through the years of figuring out who I was and who I was in the industry, it was a word that it was offensive at one point. It wasn't offensive at another point. There's some people who love it. There's some people who hate it. And the industry has really, it's changed so much with labels that I've always kind of been accustomed to the fact that I don't like labels. I don't feel like I need a label. I've always been told, oh, you know, you're pretty for a big girl.
So let's say when you say labels, you mean like the big brands that we know, the big brand names?
Of course.
You can say them so you know, so the audience knows what you mean. Because I mean, yes, you're right. When I started back in the day, they didn't make for bigger girls in certain labels.
No, there's so many labels now that make, like H&M, Michael Kors, Donna Karan, Calvin Klein.
I think Donna Karan was one lady that I have to remember, if I remember correctly, always supported the bigger woman. She
Yeah,
always
and
did.
she's such a remarkable person as well.
She
And
is. We loved
I
on
think
her.
that I love her. There's so many brands now that really are embracing curvy women. I mean, that's just a few labels to start with. There's, there's mid-range, there's high range, there's low. And oh, did I pause?
That's
Oh
okay.
no.
We don't. We hope there won't be any technical difficulties because of there's such a storm around me. Thank God I've got double glaze. You can't hear it, but it's major outside. But let's just hope it just keeps going.
All good. But
Yeah.
with that, and answering your question the long way, I honestly just like to be called the model Ashley Graham,
Right.
because I don't feel like I need to be labeled because of a number inside of my pants.
I hear you. I mean, I felt the same way when we started getting called supermodels. We're like, it could be interpreted in many different ways. It could be super when it's like, oh, who do you think you are? And then it's like, well, it was used in so many variations. And we just were like, we are just working models, but we've come up together in a group, and we've been photographed together, and we adore and love each other. So it was like, again, it was a label that we didn't choose, but was given to us. So right. I totally understand you, and you're absolutely right. You are Ashley Graham, the model, but you are Ashley Graham, the groundbreaker, because you've broken many grounds and you've opened up a path and opportunities and given so many women out there hope. So I hope you're aware of that.
Thank you. I appreciate
what you've done.
Thank you.
So tell me, I know that you're a YouTuber like I am. We're both from the YouTube family. And you've got a show there called, what's your show called?
Oh, thank God. So my show on I also have a podcast that airs on YouTube called Pretty Big Deal. And I like to have conversations with people who inspire me. And Naomi, you got to come on Pretty Big Deal, girl.
Absolutely done. I'm done deal. As soon as we're out of lockdown, I'm coming on, or wherever I can do in lockdown, whatever you want.
I know we've got to reimagine interviews now like this. But so Pretty Big Deal really started, my husband named the podcast because he's always saying, you're always called pretty for a big girl, but you're my pretty big deal. So why don't we just call it that? Very sweet. So, so I started the podcast a couple of years ago, and I've had some remarkable people on who have really inspired me. Everyone from, Gabrielle Union, Amy Schumer, Kim Kardashian, Lily Sang, just to name a few. But I, like so many people, just want to have honest conversations, and I want to inspire people, and I want to encourage people to tell their story, because in telling my story, I feel that there's been a breakthrough for other women to really find their truth and who they are, and not to be defined by an exterior.
Right. And you've also got a series on Ellen's channel, or a series with Ellen DeGeneres called Fearless.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So that airs where? So that I'm
that actually airs on Ellen Tube. You got the YouTube and you got the Ellen
YouTube. You got the podcast.
Yes.
And you got the Ellen DeGeneres,
on her
company within
Ellen
YouTube.
Right. And Fearless is amazing because we're giving people who have never had who just need that next step in life, who need that extra push, whether it's just a conversation to encourage them, money, support,
self-esteem, to give them the self-esteem to
exactly.
That's very important, and I think it's very needed.
I think so too, and I was incredibly grateful that Ellen asked me to come onto that show. I mean, every time I'm on it, I cry like a baby.
I mean, I seem to see a lot of young girls who they say, we just don't have the self-esteem to be able to do that. So I think self-esteem is something that's really important that, again, I also think could be put in the curriculum in some way, because it seems to, especially when you get to like 14, 15, 16 years old, I think you really need to know, and you want to start to feel confident and connect with your skin and feel good in your body. It's and it's great if you can have guidance. you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree with you. And I think that that's why more people need to continue to tell their story, and they need to see people that they can look up to, the overcomers.
Right, absolutely. So let me ask you this. Being married to a brother,
Yes.
I mean, I heard that you went through a lot of some awful acts. People did some really disgusting things to you. And I want, if you
Well, not
don't
to me,
mind,
to him.
yeah, what did that feel like to go through that? Because I don't discriminate. I see and go out with whoever I want to go out with, regardless of color or creed. It's, you know, as you know, I see you do what I want. But what was that like for you? I really am interested to hear what you have to say about this.
Well, I have to say, being in an interrelational relationship has really opened up my eyes. I never understood more than I do now, especially with white privilege,
Mm,
and what that means. And there's a quote that I always say that my husband told me when we first started dating. He said, "Racism is never surprising, but it's always hurtful." And that stuck with me because I then saw, even if it's the slightest thing, the littlest things, and he would point it out to me in the beginning. And now, being married for 10 years, I can see things that just pop up. And um, it's eye-opening to be in an interracial relationship, especially when the person of color is so he's incredibly open, and we have so many conversations about race, which I think is really important,
mm,
especially now and having a baby, because I want to understand as much as I can. I will never understand to the degree that he goes through every day,
right.
but it is something that I take in account too.
Well, I read somewhere that someone spat on you, which is
Mm.
disgusting.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, how did you deal with that?
it was interesting. It was interesting. We were in Italy, and in that moment, I didn't really know what was going on, and he explained it to me. And although he was upset, it was how he handled it, and he really he was. It was just terrible. It was a terrible
No, really.
situation. And anytime you see any sort of racism, it breaks your heart. It infuriates you. And in that moment, there was nothing that I could do, that he could do, and we talked
Yes.
about it, and it was very eye-opening for me to see something so outwardly disgusting.
That really, and
Have you ever had
it's,
anything like that happen to you?
look, Italy loves normally, I've always had a wonderful, Italy's been amazing in my career to me. But I have seen it's different the way they view a black woman to how they view a black man.
Mm,
There is a difference in being treated. I've seen it.
mm.
In
That's right,
terms of
because you were the first Black woman to be on the cover of Italian Vogue.
French,
Oh,
French Vogue,
excusez-moi.
but Italian, French, yeah, Italian. Italian, I shot it first, but
Okay.
actually it was French that I didn't know that they never had, and it was weird because I was with my Linda, I was with my Pessa. We were shooting with Bill King, who is an American
Mm.
photographer that used to always make us leap and jump. I'm sure you would have worked with him if he was alive, and then. And actually, Bill, at that time, that was when the AIDS epidemic was really big.
Mm.
And Bill had HIV, but he didn't want to stop working. So he would have to take breaks in between when we were shooting to lay down.
Oh,
And then,
wow.
but we never said a word. We knew that he just wanted to keep working. So we never mentioned it. We just would wait until he felt strong enough to come back and keep shooting. And so at that point, I remember hearing some of my girls say, "Oh, can we have a cover?" And they were like, "Yes." So I was like, "Well, can I have a cover too?" And they looked at me, but it wasn't a look of like, it was a look of like more confusion, like, we don't know what to answer you because we've never done one. So we don't have a president to set, so we don't know what to tell you. So I took it, of course I took it inward, and it hurt me. It's
Right.
impossible that it doesn't. And that's the thing in our business that I find very difficult when you're growing up, and like you've been doing it since you're 12, you said, which I want to get back to that,
Yeah.
is how do you learn not to take it inside on yourself? Because it is our look that they're talking about. It's been hard for me to learn it, and I am sensitive still, but I had to put a layer. So anyway, I asked for my cover. They reacted in not such a straight way, but not such a bad way either. So it was left open. So I took it upon myself to go to the great Monsieur Saint Laurent and ask him, can I have a cover? I'm your contract girl. They told me that I couldn't. It never happened. And then it became history. Yves Saint Laurent, basically, he was such a powerhouse then, took care of it because he was the biggest ad, did all the ads in the magazine. So it was like, okay, you want my ads? You got to put my girl. So
That's
basically,
amazing.
I got that.
You know what? I love that story because it just goes to show that you have to ask for what you want.
You really do.
You can't wait.
This is what you're absolutely right on. You have to ask. Sometimes you have to put the idea to them and see what happens. I mean, what can happen? They can only say no, right?
That's it. That's the only thing they can say is no.
And has that happened to you in your career in any other circumstances of things?
I've had to ask for everything in my career. At first I started as a catalog model, and it's not a bad job at all. It's great.
No, I used to
make a lot of money.
Make good money.
Yeah.
They used to have holes in the back of it. I never understood that, Ashley. Did you ever?
With holes where?
When they would have holes in the back because it was samples.
I always had to get either cut up the back or clamps in the back. I mean, it was always a mess in the back of my outfit. Nothing ever really fit properly. But right when everything started taking a change in the industry and everything was already online, but they were starting to cut heads off of the models, is when I had switched to IMG Worldwide. And they said to me, oh, have you ever tried out for Sports Illustrated? And I didn't even think of Sports Illustrated as being an option for someone like me because I am a size 14, 16. I have cellulite. I have back fat. My arms are round. I have a lower belly fat. You know, I don't think I look bad. I think I look great, but there's never been a girl that looks like me in that magazine. So they said, well, let's just give it a try. You know, things are changing. And the first year that I tried out for Sports Illustrated, I actually did not get into Sports Illustrated. But
I think I'm with you. The same for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? You know, you can go in, you can sell yourself, you can be as charismatic as you want and think that you nailed the job. And then sure enough, you get the call, sorry, ma'am, you did not get the job.
You could be on a Vogue cover back in the day and be working with Steven Meisel, but it doesn't matter. Sports Illustrated didn't have to have you. That's what I got. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you end up shooting Sports Illustrated?
I did, but never got a cover. I mean, what you accomplished, again, is absolutely phenomenal.
Well, thank you.
I found that there was I don't know if you're going to get me on this. I felt a slight pressure about the Sports Illustrated when I was younger, because I felt a slight pressure of how I had to look. And I wasn't like, I've never had big boobs, you know, so I felt this, I was a ballet dancer. I come from classical training. So I felt like I really was not the Sports Illustrated type of model at all. So I really felt this inferiority towards it, you know?
Well, it's going into it. I definitely started working out very hard because I wanted to feel good, but I also was like, you know, who knows what kind of angles they're going to catch on me. So I definitely put in the time, but I knew I wasn't working out to alter my body. I was going in because they wanted me. So the second year that I tried out, I got in. And I was a rookie, and it was a fantastic photo shoot, great images, and boom, I got the cover. And I
remember your cover very well, and I remember all your pictures.
I know you do. You know what, Naomi? Actually, it was right after that cover that I met you, and it was at the CFDA's, and we were walking onto a run, like a red carpet, and we had just had a quick conversation because there was another model who was so upset that I had gotten the cover, and she said that I was very large, like women my size should not be on the cover. And you said,
who said that?
You can go look it up. And
okay, I will. But
it was before your generation. Before your generation.
She said that in public?
Yes.
Oh, I know who it is. It's a
Yes.
model before me.
Yes.
Begins with P.
No. Begins with a
Oh.
C.
Oh, okay. Does
But you
she?
had told me, you said, I just want to let you know, I was talking about you and I defended you. And I was like, first of all, I'm meeting Naomi Campbell for the first time, and she just defended me. Heart is racing. Thank you.
Well, and I'll defend you again right now because I don't think that person has the right to say that. You
Thank
know
you.
what I
I
mean?
appreciate that.
You're not.
But it
It's
was
not your time
interesting.
now. It's your time now.
But it was interesting because it brought a whole perspective to an industry and even to the world, that how could there be a woman that was this big, oh my god, on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and then to have people talk about, of course you're going to get negativity, we always are going to get negativity, but it brought up a great conversation of, what is health, what is beauty, what is sexy, and what do men want to see, because Sports Illustrated is such a man's magazine. So it was,
well, that's why it was. That's why it was so fantastic that you have it. It is such a. It will stand in the test of time because it's always been this. You have to look strong, sexy, lean. No, it's that. That's what I mean by that pressure that came with.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I never felt comfortable when I shot Sports Illustrated, never, because I mean I got to go to some wonderful places. There was a lady there called Julie, who was like the head honcho lady of the Sports Illustrated section of the swimsuits. And I mean, back in the day, they used to do thousands of trips. And I mean, I
Oh,
don't
I
know how it
heard.
goes now. And,
Well, things
you
are
know,
different. I actually watched your interview with Cindy Crawford, and you guys were talking about how you could. She said she got to go to a trip 2 days early just to take a tan, and then
yeah,
shoot
we
on the
did.
third day. I
How is
wish.
it now? It's not like that anymore.
No.
Everything's just like in the studio. Let's get it. I mean, I'm blessed in the sense of I get to go to Africa pretty much every month. I'm in Africa, and it's the first month that I have not been, and I'm missing it so much. And so a lot of things now that people are coming to me saying you want to do shoots, I'm like, yes, I would like to shoot them in Africa because I
Yes.
want people to see the beauty of this continent.
Yes.
So, but I mean, really, trips nowadays are really very rare.
They are very rare.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your favorite country in Africa?
Well, I have a home in Kenya.
Oh,
Yeah, in Kenya
amazing.
on the coast, but it's different. Kenya is beautiful for the safari, for the nature, for the wild, like the Indian Ocean. It's stunning. And then for the creativity, you've got West Africa, Lagos, Nigeria, Ghana, Accra. I mean, then you have South Africa, which was South Africa is where I went to first and met the great President Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
So it's like, and it's so different. But I feel the one common denominator I have across the continent is the peace. There's an incredible peace, Ashley. If you ever, when your baby gets older, and
I
you
have
can,
been able to go. We had a great time in Senegal. I love Senegal.
it's
Yes.
amazing, right?
Yes.
Dakar,
And then
where did you go?
we went.
Dakar?
Yes, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And we had, I'm going to totally butcher the name. Chip and Bip. Wait, hold on. How do you say it? Like fish and chips.
No. You had
I know.
Oh my God, Cheb.
Yes.
Cheb. You had Cheb. Do you have it with fish or with chicken?
No, with fish, and you eat it, and
Fish.
we ate it with our hands. Oh my God, it was the
Isn't
best.
it amazing, the Senegalese food? And
I
you know
love it.
that, let's so we tell the audience, there's always been this war in Africa about who created and invented jollof rice.
Oh yeah.
Jollof rice is Senegalese. Nigerians think it's Nigerian, but it's not. Ghanaians think it's Ghanaian, but it's not. It is Senegalese. And I mean, the food in Senegal, you have to come back because I was there last year with Kehinde Wiley, and he opened up Black Rock, which is a place that young artists come back and forth from all over the world, and a house, and they live there, and they do like a couple months of doing art with him, and then going back out.
I love
It's really wonderful.
Have you been to Ethiopia? I know we're totally getting off track right now.
No, I haven't. I was meant to be there now.
No way.
Right now.
I went last Christmas with my best friend who's Ethiopian, and I
Yeah.
had the time of my life.
Incredible. And Addis
Time of my life.
Baba, where were you? I gotta
Oh
get
my gosh.
some tips
We
from you
went
then.
all over. We took an airplane and we went everywhere. And I have to say, like, taking a plane and staying at least one day in each city and seeing how the history of everything, and
Yeah.
it's remarkable. And to be there with my best friend who is Ethiopian and her mom, I mean, that's the best.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So you really got to see it the authentic way.
The only way.
I hope, I mean, I've got to work on my flying, but we're here to talk about you.
I know. We'll talk about Africa offline.
So please, can you tell me something? Because another first that you've done is your American Vogue cover. Congratulations on that. And it was a beautiful cover.
Thank you so much.
Really beautiful. Tell me about it. Tell us all about it.
Well,
how it came about.
So when Anna and team had reached out,
Anna Winter. We're just
Anna
gonna say last
Wintour.
names just because for us it's normal to say Anna, but they need to know, the world watching, that it's Anna Winter. Yeah.
Yes, Anna Wintour. She's a really remarkable woman, and she has believed in me. She gave me a Vogue cover with a group of models a couple of years ago.
I remember that one too. Yeah.
Eternally grateful for that. So when she reached out and asked if I wanted to shoot pregnant on the cover for the January issue of 2020, I mean, anytime you do a Vogue cover, it's like my heart is racing, my stomach turns around, and then I'm like, yes, because for me to think about this, it's like 20 years I've been modeling. I'm 32 years old. I'm from Nebraska. And I've worked my butt off to get to this place.
Yeah.
And this is what makes it worth it. And it also makes it worth it because it just goes to show that working hard can get you anything, but also telling your story and being true to who you are is important.
With integrity, which is what you're authentic.
Yes, being 100% authentic. And it was also really special because my husband Justin got to come with me, and Annie Leibovitz shot it, and they put a beautiful picture of the two of us in the center, and then I got to hold my belly in the front. It was amazing.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So I mean, I would like to say you are a driven young woman.
Thank you.
and I understand that, and I get it. And you have to be where you are today, to have gone through all that you've gone through.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's wonderful that you share that with all the different outlets that you have, with all the podcasts, with all the channels, with Ellen. You know, I totally get it, and I'm really, really happy I got to talk to you all day. There's so many things. Okay, how does it feel now that you've broken all the boundaries? You're now a new mother. What are the things that Ashley Graham now wants to do in the future? I know you've got a lot more things you want to achieve. I know you.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's endless. I think that continuing to create media and telling stories is very important.
Good content.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a production company, and I've been EPing different projects as well. And I think that it's important to tell stories that are meaningful to me, but I think that are impactful for the world. I also would love to have, I have a lingerie and a swimsuit line and a denim collection. But I want to create sustainable clothing for all sizes. Something that is, easily accessible and made in America would be fantastic. So that's another big goal of mine.
That's fantastic.
And I think that continuing to embrace who I am in telling my story, I want to continue to, like how I just said with the production company, I think there's so many people out there who have these incredible stories. And even just, I'm so glad you're doing this show, Naomi, because I feel like we get to see another side of you as well. This is the Naomi Campbell on the other side interviewing, and we get to hear even stories that we never got before. I think it's fabulous.
It's
really
fun. I mean, it's all fun. Like I said yesterday to Nicole, I said, It was a fantasy.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, like, like a fantasy, like, you sing in front of the mirror. You want to be a singer? I tried that, didn't work. Okay, so now I want to be a talk show host.
Here you are, girl, thriving. And you
And
know
I
what?
just,
Like, this is amazing because, this quarantine can be very difficult. And I think that there's a lot of people who are alone. Are you quarantining alone, by the way?
I am quarantining alone. Yeah.
And it can really take a toll on you when you're alone. And I think that there are people who are losing their jobs, who are losing loved
Yes.
ones, who I can't apply for unemployment. But that's why we are on here. We want to inspire. We want to have conversation. We want people at home to know that you aren't alone.
Yeah. I also, for me, it's there's so many. I don't know. It's just been this has been a very reflective time.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, there's a lot of people out there who are losing their jobs. I read today now it's 6 million people in America. God knows how many what that number is going to be in the world. I mean, of course, I care very much what goes on in the UK, and it's it's a tough time.
It is.
I mean, we haven't started that tough time. We're still trying to get over this.
I know we've only been a month in quarantine, which is just so crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah. Can I ask you? Are there any routines? Because obviously you got a baby, so you're a new mommy. So what are the routines you're doing for yourself, and when you're for the baby, and then for yourself? And can you give the viewers some insight of your day and how you're dealing with quarantine?
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm still trying to figure out how to be a mom.
That's so cute.
There's like, it's like,
Is Isaac waking up in the middle of the night?
Of course he is. It's like, do you not want to sleep for 12 hours, sir? He's not sleeping yet for very long. So I'm up in the night.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when I had no idea that I didn't need as much sleep as I was getting before, because I can still thrive as a normal human without sleep the way that I was sleeping before. But anyways, something that's really been keeping me sane is working out, which is very important to me. And it's, you're moving your body, you're creating that blood flow, circulation, all of that.
I know.
But
I'm
also
with you
having a calendar. Yeah, I've watched some of your workout lives. Hi. But having a calendar and knowing that even if it's just that I'm taking a walk, I am answering my emails for this hour, whatever it is, but I have actually scheduled out my days, and that has really helped me stay sane.
It helps, right? I'm not used to doing that because, when we're in the studio at work, we're in the studio at work. We're there till we finish. So it's been like, I sit here, I've got this big notepad, and I know everyone does a lot of notes on their phone, but I'm still old-fashioned where I need to write on pen and paper. And
I get it.
So that's what I do. And that's what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, after we finish today, I've got this to do, and I'm doing it. And then I made a decision at 7:38, that's cutoff time. It's time where I can, either take my bath that I like or go and, make something I want
Your
to
routine.
eat. Now, that's my time, because I'm not going to take the calls after 8 o'clock. I'm trying
like that.
Unless it's like calls with friends, yes, that type of call, fine, but not calls of business stuff, because then you'll never rest, and your mind will never rest, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
on Saturday, I understand. I totally understand. On Saturday, I actually left my phone in my bedroom and left for the day. And it was so good for my body to not have to keep thinking about my phone. And I'm really glad that I did that, because we're spending so much time on the screen through the quarantine. Whether I'm working out, it's on the screen. I'm having more Zoom and FaceTime meetings. And
I know.
It's really interesting. And that part is exhausting.
I have to tell you, Ashley, I didn't know how to connect the phone. My phone was not connected to my iPad. I'm learning all of this. I learned how to download the Zoom thing. I mean, all of this technical, we're going to be such technical whizzes after all of this, because I am
Seriously.
so not. And I'm learning a lot. It's a work in progress. I'm learning a lot. But I want to say, anything else you want to tell us, or tell the young girls out there, of anything we haven't touched on that you want people to know that's important to you, or any question you want to ask me?
I think it's important for young girls just to remember that things will feel hard, especially in those years that we were talking about, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
And to remember that you're not alone. There are so many people that look like you, feel like you, going through very similar situations. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and to remember to hang in there, because that's one of the biggest things, is to hang in there. But yeah, that's it. And Naomi, I just want to say thank you for having me on.
The asking for help is hard, I find. Sorry.
No. I'm glad you said that. It is very hard to ask for help.
Like, I find, what's the question that, like, when I meet these young girls when I travel, that's the question that they don't feel that they can ask for help within their homes, within their families.
And sometimes being at home is the worst place to actually get help, because you've got family members putting pressure on you for whatever it is that you're going through. But I think that now with social media, it can be a negative thing and it can be a positive thing. The negativity comes from the comments, from the people who are just so nasty, and the positivity comes from actually finding a community that you feel that you can connect with.
You don't read any of the. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't read the comments. I read them.
Come on, we all read the comments.
I do read them. I mean, they're not. I mean, sometimes they can be quite hurtful, but I'm just like, okay, hurt me for a second.
Yeah.
Brush it off. You know.
Yeah, I think.
But it's not our business.
You have to create an armor. No, it's not our business. And you have to create this armor around you. But, honestly, we could talk about it all day. When it actually happens to you is when you learn from it. And
exactly.
And it is difficult.
Ashley Graham, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to say one thing. You have a game that you played. Can you explain to me about this game?
Oh, yes.
Because that was the one thing I forgot to ask, and I want to know about the game.
Okay. Well, on the end of every podcast I do a Live Boldly lightning round. And you ask questions that are quick answers. And did you want to ask me questions, or am I going to ask you questions?
Try it. I don't know. Try it on me. I'm not prepared.
Okay.
I mean, I've asked you lots of questions, but
okay, here we go.
Test it
All right,
out.
here we go. We're going to do the
game.
Live Boldly lightning round with Naomi Campbell. All right. Okay. What was the last pretty penny that you spent?
Pretty penny. February.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. February. You spent a lot of money in February?
Yeah, like I bought a very luxurious present for someone. Yes.
Woo! Wait, can you tell us what it was?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
Answered.
Okay. Okay. Another question is, what is a pretty big deal in your life right now?
I think just accepting people as they are, and not trying to have any expectations. I think the things that are big deals to me are very simple things. They're not things that you would think they should be big deals. It's simple things, learning to accept, self-acceptance. There's one, accepting of others, not having expectations of others, not caring what others think of you. People that have hurt you, learning to heal. People that were important in your life that meant a lot to you that you no longer talk to, you have to heal and move forward. Things like that, moving forward without any malice, without any negativity, just letting go and moving on.
That's a good, pretty big deal. More people need to learn about that. And then Something I always ask people on my podcast is, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, I think I'm going to be spending my 50th here in isolation.
When is your birthday?
Next month.
Oh,
Next month.
wow.
But, you know, can I tell you something, Ashley? With all the things that were being thrown at me, I kept saying to everyone, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I never planned anything. It's the
So
weirdest thing.
interesting.
I didn't plan anything. And I was like,
So
yeah, I'm going to
interesting.
get to it. I'm going to get to it. I almost thought maybe I just go somewhere alone. It was, so I'm happy, I'm fine with it.
Well, good for you. That's amazing piece
Embracing
to
the
have.
50.
Girl, I can't believe you're 50. That's
Yes.
incredible.
Yes. I mean, and so how many questions in your game? Have I passed your
Yeah, we usually do about 3 to 4, but you know what? You did a
okay.
great job, and it just goes to show that you're going to be an amazing guest on Pretty Big Deal.
Can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Ashley, for your
Thank
time.
you,
And please
Naomi.
send my love to your husband and to
Thank
your
you.
mother.
Thank you.
And kiss baby Isaac, and congratulations again.
I
Thank you
will.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for all you're doing,
Take care.
Naomi.
Thank you. God bless. See you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.